Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. I was taking a look around at things, and noticed some things were kind of off here. First, it looks like part of my Hide the Lion mask was covering the bottom of her chin there. So I figure I should move that down and make that look a little bit better. And I'll worry about it being weird in these areas a bit later. And then I noticed that the eye socket on the side of her head, the shadows there, were for some reason moving really far down. I'm not sure why that happened. I'm not sure if I just did something a while back and there were various shenanigans, but that's okay. I can go ahead and fix that now. I was just making sure that everything was sliding across nicely, and noticed that there was some weirdness in her eyes. Still think that over here is maybe a bit weird. So I'm gonna go poke at that just a little bit here. I don't really want it to look like it's hanging off her face though, so I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it here a bit more. Let's try 38. Yeah, it looks a little bit smoother. Let's see here. Move it back over just a little bit there. And now I need to check those eye sockets, or the eyelid just a little bit here. I think I need to make the top of it a little bit flatter here. Here we are. Because it's like, if you look at it here, the top is actually pretty flat. So I want to do that on this side too. And I think that's part of what's causing the eyes not to go across nicely. Alright, so now I'm going to go look for the eyelids here, so I can mirror it. Here we are. Eyelid left and eyelid right. Let's go. And then I want to mirror what I did over here, so I want to find right eye. Here we are. Okay. So let's see if that lets everything go across a little bit more evenly here. I don't know, I still see a little bit of strange movement there. It's hard to describe. Not quite sure how to describe it, but I think I'm gonna lower this just a little bit here. Or just when I go across, it looked a little bit wrong, but this is looking a little bit better. As always, I just want the face to look really, really good. And eyes are very, very important. Especially in anime, I think. So I want to do everything I can to make sure that her face looks really good. Alright, I feel like the eyelid is going up just a little bit here. So I'll go ahead and push that down just a teeny tiny bit. And then once I'm satisfied with her eyes again, I can go ahead and go back to drowning in hair. It's okay, I'm getting there. can't believe that the lower right corner is almost done. It felt like it had been an eternity before I finished all of this. Okay, I think that's looking better. So now let's go ahead and mirror everything over here. So I'm going to find eyelid right and eye makeup right. Let's find the eyelid first. And eye makeup, I think is going to be up here because it's 2 words, yeah. Okay, so let's see if her eyes slide across nicely now. Yeah, I think her head is moving a little bit more nicely. Now I just gotta do the same thing for up here. Okay. I'll go ahead and make this 37 too. Seven might be okay there. Let's see how this... Yeah, no, it has to move over just a little bit more there. I'll move it one at a time until they match. I'm not quite happy with that, but I'm not entirely sure what's wrong. I know part of it is some shenanigan over here with the eye socket. That is definitely part of it. Let's see here, 33 versus 29. Do you need to be that far over? I actually do think that helped a little bit. So let's keep messing with it. And part of it might also be related to the shading underneath her eye. Do I move that over? I do. Oh my, I actually move it over quite far, don't I? Okay, well, let's move it a little further over. It's okay. Sometimes I just gotta try things. See what happens. Kind of feel like just the eyelashes themselves need to move a click over. Just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. Definitely don't want to overdo it. And then on the eyelid itself, I think I want to push it over to the left a little bit. Move the corner over. Make it look like we're seeing a little bit more of the edge of her eyelid there. It's like she's facing to the right, so I think that makes sense. Yeah, with her hair coming together, I've been noticing more and more problems with the other parts of the face. So I might want to correct for those periodically. Alright, but I think that looks pretty good, so let me make the first correction over here. This will be the right eye node. And then down here, I forget if I moved the node itself. I did not. Okay. So now it's all going to be stuff in eyes. The eyelid. The eyelashes. Okay. And then the eye socket. Oh yeah, and the under eye. Oh wow, so that's gonna be all the way at the bottom here. Alright. So this is in alphabetical order. Okay. So that should be everything properly mirrored. Let's slide her face across. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Alright, back to cleaning up hair. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I got distracted by some of her facial features, so I didn't actually look at the hair too closely this morning yet. Okay. I think the most important thing for the moment... This highlight is too tall. Let's go ahead and bring that down. Okay, I think that's better, but I did mess up this highlight here while I was doing that. The brush does not discriminate. The brush does what it wants. So now I just gotta go back and fix some of that. And then the top of the highlight, the brightest point, needs to be a little bit further to the left. Just some kind of basic stuff like that. Okay. I'm just neatening some things up here. Prior to last stream, I wasn't really caring about making everything neat, I was just getting everything into place. But now I'm at the cleanup stage, where now I do want everything to be neat. It's time to make everything pretty. Now that everything's in place, I can get rid of weird, wobbly things like this. And it'll be wonderful. But first, I want to finish that front bang. Before I go on to worrying about the stuff over there, I want to do the front bang first. The reason? I guess there's half a reason. It's just, the front bang is front and center, so I like to get it first. Those front and center things are just very important. And I still felt like some of this stuff was going a little bit too far to the right, so bringing it on over to the left. Or hopefully it'll have a nicer time. So now I just want to shape it a little bit. This highlight I think is pretty important, so I want to give it all the time it needs. Alright, I think that kind of movement in the highlight actually looks pretty good. So I think I will leave it like that. Alright. So now I'm not entirely happy with how this top part is connecting to the top part of this layer over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that a little bit. I've been listening to the Outer Wilds soundtrack again lately. And, memories. Outer Wilds is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's pretty great. It's a game where you're basically playing as a space archaeologist, trying to figure out this alien civilization that happened to colonize part of the solar system you live in and went extinct long before your species probably even existed. And it was pretty cool. Just flying around space, solving mysteries. I'd describe it as a Metroidvania where your only power-ups are knowledge. Very cool game. If that sounds at all interesting to you, I highly recommend playing it. And I highly recommend going into it as blind as possible. It is about solving a space mystery after all, so any spoilers to mysteries is fatal. It's very sad. Yeah, the soundtrack for that game is pretty fantastic too. I enjoy it, and also because I like the game, I think it makes me like it even more. I remember some of the places where those songs came up, and certain one of them can still evoke feelings in me. Like, that's when you know you're dealing with a good game. I always like remembering that one because a lot of modern games just have not resonated with me in quite a while. Certainly not to the level of that game, but even ones that I am able to get some enjoyment out of. It just... it's hard to compare it to a game that I like that much. Outer Wilds is something pretty special. Okay. So here I'm trying to line up this particular dark spot here, as well as the little highlight that kind of sits on top of it at the very top. More so the highlight at the very top for the moment, just because I think that will help define the shape of the hair a little bit more. And I think this is actually a good place to reference the bottom turn, rather than just referencing the center and going along the diagonal. I think that should help me line things up a little bit more. Sometimes the diagonal is a little bit harder to follow. I figure it's worth a shot. So let's see what happens. Because right now I'm trying to line like this area up vertically. And I was having a hard time doing that with the diagonal. So let's see if it's a little bit easier using the bottom head turn. Okay, I think that is lined up a little bit better, but I'm not quite sure if I'm satisfied with the movement from the center. So might tell me that there's still something wrong with the bottom head turn, or maybe it's just an area where they differ a little bit, because I did mostly see it over here, where I felt like this area was a little bit too rounded out. And I just needed to make it a little bit flatter. So I'll see how that works out with the bottom head turn here. But now I'm going to try to get it right on the diagonal. I have lots of little reference points that I can use to try to figure out how I should be making all of this look. It is both nice and terrifying. So on the one hand, I have lots of hints to help me figure it out, but on the other hand, it means that I have a bunch of stuff that I have to line up with a bunch of other stuff. Okay, I think that looks a little bit better. And it actually does line up decently with the bottom. Most excellent. So it was an area where they didn't really provide the same information. That makes sense. That might be why I was having a hard time just lining things up with just the diagonal. See, that is the upside of having all these points. I may have to line a whole bunch of things up, but it does mean that I have more information to work with. Yeah, next time I make a model, I definitely have to integrate the corners into the entire process a little bit sooner. There's just a treasure trove of information in those. Here, I'm trying to decide which angle does it best, because there's a spot right over here in this area that's not quite lining up. And I do think that it is the lower right that does it better. So that means it is time to adjust the right. And the way that I determine which one does it better is I just really scrutinize how things are moving along those angles. And then if I see even the slightest bit of sliding in one, that tells me that's the one I need to fix. Sometimes I don't see any significant sliding, or things that look off, in which case I can just kind of decide based on which what in like the still image, like the keyframe itself, that looks better. Not just when I get to do what I want, and it feels good. Because it means that I have two areas that are both looking pretty okay, and I just get to pick my favorite. And no matter which one I pick, everything will be fine. Once again, I just wanted to make sure that I did indeed like the lower right more than the right, and I do. So that just means that I need to straighten out this strand a little bit here. Bring all of this a little bit further to the right. I swear, these little strands give me more trouble than I feel like they should. But they're surprisingly prominent for being so small. I think it's because they're a light area surrounded by a bunch of dark areas. And the contrast between these points is stronger than it is in a lot of other areas. So they just stand out really strongly to me sometimes. So I like to make sure that I get them right. Fortunately, this area I actually meshed very, very well. Everything here is so easy to move around. Compared to how messy the tips are, the rest of this is just absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure if I just got lazy at the tips or if I just had no idea how to handle it properly, but I will say that the parts higher up are just better. I think this is also valuable information for me to take into my future rigs. Of not only do I have some areas that I didn't mesh very well, like the back hair or some of those other places that I struggle with and complain about a lot. But I also have these places that I actually feel like I did pretty well. So after all, doing things better isn't just correcting mistakes, it's also acknowledging the things that worked really, really well. So that this way I can make a point of doing all of that again. I think you require both sides in order to truly improve at something. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Alright, but it's looking good. Now I can just go into cleaning up the dark part. I do think it has a bit more movement to be done in order to line it up with the right head turn. Ooh, little Yanni today. Had a bit of trouble sleeping last night. And I also went to bed perhaps a little bit later than I should have. It happens sometimes. And it's alright. I feel like progress is being made today. And I'm having a good time working on it. So I suppose that's what really matters in the end. Alright, I think things are lined up pretty well there, so let's go ahead and start really making this shadow nice and smooth. I've been letting it be kind of wrinkly and crinkly all this time. And now it's time to just smooth out all those rough edges. My nose is a bit itchy again today. I'm still wondering why that happens, because it was fine all day. And then suddenly I start streaming and my nose is just itchy. Just like taunting me. Or maybe I'm still just getting a little bit phlegmy from talking. My throat feels fine though. I've definitely recovered from being sick. All is well now. Alright. Needed to click off the mesh for a second there, so this way I could see where those last few spots of crunchiness were lying. When I clicked off to check it, I was actually hoping that I had gotten them all, but not quite. I want to make sure that this is nice and round and pretty. And that requires some precision. Still not convinced this is right, but I want to take a look. Gotta take a look at how it all moves. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. If you look at how much the shape of that curve is changing when I go down. Yeah. That's no good. Let's try again. Like I said, I'm a bit tired, so today might be a bit of a thing. Might have to try some things a little bit more often than usual. Or maybe I'll jump around and work on all of the low-hanging fruit. That's always a good thing to do when I'm super tired. Just do some easy stuff. Although, man, you know, I feel like I did some relatively difficult stuff there at the beginning, so maybe things aren't as bad as I think they are. I think after all of this, I might take a nap. Okay, yeah, I think that curve is much better now. Do think I need to straighten it out just a little bit more, but location, perfect. And now I just have to, like, care about the relative thickness and absolute location of the pixels and all that stuff that's kind of a little bit less interesting. And there we go. I think that's looking better. Heck yeah. Okay, what do I feel like doing now? Because I don't know, I feel like all the front bang stuff is done, so yeah, let's just go into where it connects, I suppose. Connects right over to over there. Let's see, is there anything that I really need to fix? Something about the movement here is a little bit weird. I do feel like it's going up a little bit, but man, I think I'm a bit too tired to work that out right now. But I don't think it's especially related to, like, the very top part. It might be related to the tunnel, so I won't do that much work around the tunnel. I'll just work on smoothing out everything up here. And maybe going all the way down to there, where some of those horribly, horribly crunchy spots are. Right now I'm just staring at this, my brain is just going, bah? Bah. And that's when you know maybe that's a good time to visit that problem for tomorrow. So this is why I said I'll probably take a nap after stream. I think my brain needs it. I don't think it'll be able to draw very much after stream, so can just take a little nap and hopefully feel better. That way I'll have plenty of energy to play with my kids. It's been really cold lately, so I'm hoping that at some point it warms up for at least a day so that this way I can take them to the park or something. My poor daughter has been wanting to go to the park, but it's just been too cold. They might still be able to have some fun, but there wouldn't be any other kids there. I can't imagine people wanting to take their kids out when it's this cold. Weather's the worst, you know? Having to dictate things you can and can't do. It's so funny because the weather's never been relevant to me before now. Because I'd always just been very content to stay inside all day. Was never much of an outdoors person. Alright, down there is still a little bit crunchy. But I want to make sure that the movement is good before I go back to straightening it out a little bit more. And indeed, movement not so good yet. So I gotta do some stuff to really make sure that everything moves well. It's mostly with that strand. I think everything else is pretty okay. But it's okay, this is why I check these things. It's like I was talking about being pretty content staying inside all the time. Still am, personally. But my daughter is very much a social butterfly. She likes to just go up and talk to all the people. Have to keep an eye on her and make sure she doesn't talk to the wrong people by herself, but... For the most part, I think it's a good thing. I think it's nice to be able to approach life where every person that you meet is a potential friend, as opposed to a potential enemy or potential punishment. Sometimes just looking at tiny humans can tell me things that I have perhaps forgotten. I think overall, there are more good people than bad people. So I think it's pretty healthy to approach the world where everybody is a potential friend. So I've been trying to do that more lately. She always just looks so happy when she's around other kids, and, you know, not even necessarily just other kids. Their parents, too. Some of the parents do get surprised by just how friendly she is. Just wants to go out and be friends with everyone. Literally everyone. Seems like a pretty good way to be, if I'm being honest. I don't think I could handle being friends with everyone, like, emotionally. I find people a little bit exhausting, but, the idea is solid. The sentiment is good, I think. Okay, I think I'm officially fairly happy with the location of all these things. Probably gonna check a few more times here and there, but with that, I should be able to start actually smoothing things out and making things look nice. But yeah, I think that looks pretty okay. Maybe this doesn't. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. This looks okay, though. But this, yeah, that's not working. I'm gonna have to decide who does it better. Oh, well, that's an easy choice. Man, I left it like that, huh? Well, okay, I'm sure that I had something in mind. Alright, let's straighten things out here, and then I will go copy that over to the right head turn. And we'll make everything over here just look very nice. Straighten some of these out too. It does get a little bit difficult to move those around when they get so close together like that. Still a bit wrinkly. And you know, just because it's bothering me right now, I'm gonna go ahead and hide all of that. I don't know, that looks kind of weird, doesn't it? But I don't really want it to... Yeah, that's probably the best I can do. Because I don't really want it to show up on top of this hair here. So I kind of have to hide it behind that other strand. Maybe with a different layer order I could have done it a little bit differently, but... this is fine. It looks okay. Man. This spot right here just does not want to decrunchify, and I'm not sure what's wrong. Time to flail, I suppose. Oh, there are worse things in the world than flailing. Is that just how it looks? Am I being silly? No, that's not how it looks. It's making it so weird then. Let's consult the mesh. Okay, so this vertex here is supposed to be much longer. Okay, that did help a little bit. Mesh continues to have good ideas. I should ask him for help more readily. The mesh is very smart. It knows everything. Okay, still not quite happy with that. So let's flail just a little bit more here. I think I just need this strand here to be a little bit closer. I'll fix that crunchy spot in just a second here. This is another area that I always find a little bit hard to manage. So maybe I should go do some more low-hanging fruit for a little while. So boy, I really do need a little nap. I don't want to stop though. The hazards of having a good time. Okay, let's start lining this up a little bit better then. Once again, I'm going to be a little bit messy here, and I do not particularly mind. Right now, I just want to get the precise location of these strands looking good. Because those strands are a little bit hard to move. But man, it's not making it easy on me. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and straighten out some other areas while my brain is just like, okay, I don't want to poke at that anymore. It's okay, brain. You're doing your best. So I'll just go ahead and straighten out some stuff over here. This is the strand from hell, so I probably won't do much more than just make the edges a little bit nicer. Because the thought of making it all perfect is a little bit too terrifying for my sleepy brain. I'm actually surprised that I didn't straighten it out on this turn, because this turn was a little bit messy too. Well, that's fine. How's it look now? Pretty okay, I think. Alright. Let's see, where should I straighten things out next? Let's go ahead and do this little strand. We're just gonna make this little strand nice and smooth. I think I have its location and overall direction good, so all I need to do is make it pretty. And that's fairly straightforward. That's something that even a half-asleep brain can handle. In theory. I say, as I flail a little bit. Okay. There we go. See, it can totally handle it with a half-asleep brain. All is well. Just gotta flail a little bit harder. It'll be fine. So let's see here. Now that I've gotten that mostly straightened out, still got a little stuff to fix right over there. How does this look with all the other turns? I did think that the angle, like right here, was a little bit weird. That's why I didn't bother to fix the whole thing. Because I thought that I might need to do something a little like this. Kind of pull this all back. Just a little. Okay, and then I want to round out this part back here just a little bit too. I think that'll make it look a little bit nicer. There we go. Alright, let's see how that works with all the other angles now. Looking good. Okay, I think I can be happy with that. Actually, a lot of this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy. Let's go ahead and adjust this little highlight here. Assuming I remember where the layer is. Took me a second there. I just wanted to lift it up just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Yeah, there we go, that's better. And now I want to get it to be that highlight to be the right shape. It just involves lifting this vertex up. There we go. Wanted it to be a little bit rounder on the top there. Okay, I think that's pretty good, and I think this is where I will stop for today. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.